When it comes down to purchasing any type of real estate, the resale of that property is something really important that needs to be considered. And although it may seem like every property ever built in Ontario, including the shed in your backyard, has just gone up in value, that's not fully the case. Some properties have depreciated or gone down in value compared to others, or in a more medium perspective, certain types of properties have appreciated much slower than others. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What different types of properties should you avoid when looking to purchase? What's going to cause a house to appreciate slower than others? What type of property might cost you on resale that you could have avoided had you paid a little bit more or compromised on some basic finishes? So before we dive into it, my name's Andre. I'm a real estate agent here in Simcoe, Ontario. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video in the comments down below. And if you're curious for more real estate related aspects or information that I'm associated with, details are in the description and more on me at the end of the video. Starting off with number one, avoid properties that have outdated floor plans or are functionally obsolete. You could always change or upgrade finishes, replace the entire kitchen, install an island if you want to, but what you cannot change is the floor plan or the layout of the property that you purchase. So what do I mean by this? Avoid properties that do not have the capacity or cannot be modernized to what the future buyer might want. As an example, properties that don't have a two-piece washroom or powder room on the main floor. If your guests come visit, they have to go either upstairs and use your washroom or go downstairs for it. Properties that don't have a garage or don't have a carport. And referencing today's market, it is highly desirable right now, and I don't see why this would go away anytime soon or in the future, for buyers to have an ensuite off the primary bedroom. So that's two 4-piece washrooms on the second floor, one for the guests or the kids, and a private one for the owners. Other things like having access to the garage from the inside of the property so that in the wintertime you don't have to go outside. These are things that might seem great now when you feel like you're saving because you're compromising on having a washroom on the main floor, but down the road when you go to resell in the future, this could cost you thousands. As an example, say you're looking at buying a townhouse. Compare 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouses and 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom townhouses. One has an extra 4-piece on the second floor. 5 years ago, what were they selling for? What was the difference? If it only costs $5,000 to $15,000 more and you get an extra 4-piece on the second floor, compare it to what it's selling for now. If the spread is $25,000 to $30,000 more, yes, you might have saved $15,000 by compromising on the 4-piece on the second level or on the main floor. But now when you go to resell your property, you're probably going to be $30,000 less than what another property went for that has those features. Number two, avoid properties that are really old and not well maintained. We both know that there are properties that are like 150 or 200 years old and they were just immaculately maintained by their owners. They probably are built stronger and better than the developments going on today. But if a property is really, really old and it did not receive the care that it needs, I would avoid it at pretty much all costs. It's only gonna keep getting older and older, and I don't know about you, but I have not seen many 150 to 300-year-old properties that don't require an extended amount of maintenance in order just to keep them functioning. You're gonna run into problems such as electrical, plumbing, foundation problems, asbestos, and a whole other host of factors. And another really important thing to consider is if you buy a property that's 150 years old, yes, might seem great for the price point. When you go to sell it in 25 years, it's a good amount of time for some appreciation to happen. You're probably going to get a higher price for it. However, that property is no longer 150 years old. It is now 175 years old. And the market for that type of property is going to be very, very narrow, and it's probably going to cost you on the price. Whereas you could have went for a 30 to 50-year-old property, paid a little bit more, but when you sell it 25 years later, it's gonna be much more beneficial for you. And it's most likely going to be a quicker sell. Who knows? Maybe you have to leave the country and go to Costa Rica suddenly in the next 25 years. You don't want that property sitting on the market for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. You want something that's gonna be selling rather quickly if you need to, vacate quickly because the weather's just so beautiful and you just have to get out of Ontario. And number three, which I'm going to group into one here, is other value decreasing factors. The first two are really the most important ones that you should watch out for and avoid in a property. But other things like noise or nuisance. Is this property located near a train track? You might think you're saving and compromising because you're okay to live with the sound, but when you go to resell that property down the road, families aren't going to want to live there because their kids are going to get woken up at midnight when this train is running. Another factor would be super adequacy, a property that is just done over the top in certain cases. An example would be, say you're searching for a home and this property has a lazy river running around it. You might think that's super cool and that you're gonna pay the price that they want in order to get that property because you want a lazy river in your backyard. But when it comes to reselling that property down the road, the amount of buyers like you that are gonna see that property and say, wow, I really want it for the price that they're asking, versus the amount of buyers that are going to see that property and say, wow, this is going to cost me 6 figures to clear up and fill in. I'm just going to avoid this property, is something to consider. Something that's just done way over the top and does not conform to what other properties are going for is something to not fully avoid, but be very wary about. And other value decreasing factors can be something like a condo that's not that new, but has very, very high condo fees. They're only gonna keep going up and up and up. Or if you're looking to purchase a property and there's a huge field in the backyard, maybe it's a good idea to check what that field might be zoned for. Maybe there's a planned residential development which is going to boost the value of your property, or maybe it's in the city's bylaw that they want to rezone that to an industrial park. And that way you're gonna have factories and huge trucks every day working there because that's what it's gonna be zoned for. And in that case, that would negatively impact the value of your property. For resale, you buy it with a field, but when you're trying to sell it, there's like an oil factory in your backyard. So keep these things in mind and avoid those properties if they check said boxes, because they can cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands down the road when you go to resell your home. And if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in the Barrie or Simcoe area, hit my line down below. I reply to every single email, text message, or phone call. Maybe just curious about the market. I also put out a weekly market update for the city of Barrie. I'm gonna do Simcoe pretty soon, but we look at the amount of new freehold listings, sold freehold listings, new condo listings, sold condo listings, average close price, average days on market, photo of the week, listing of the week, all these different things to give you a better idea of what the Barrie real estate market might be looking like week to week. I think it's super beneficial. I mean, I put my time, tears, love, blood, and sweat into it. So if you do want to sign up for that, link is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and make sure to check out one of these two videos here for some more awesome real estate content from me.